if your erections aren't what they used to be, if your energy feels drained, if you're no longer intimate, not because you don't want to, but because your body doesn't respond, then hear this. It might not be aging, it might be what you're putting in your mouth every morning. Some fruits, yes, even the ones labeled healthy, can silently fuel inflammation, disrupt your hormones, block blood flow to your most vital area, and slowly kill your natural ability to get hard. I know that sounds hard to believe, but stay with me, because what I'm about to share could change everything. I'm Dr. Cole. I've spent over 3 decades helping men over 60 restore their sexual health naturally. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to reclaim what age and misinformation tried to steal. I've seen far too many men blame themselves, feel like they've lost their edge, lost their desire. But the truth is, all they needed was to change a few small things, starting with breakfast. In this video, I'll reveal 7 fruits you should avoid in the morning if you want to protect your erections, your energy, and your confidence. And the 7th one, it's in almost every household refrigerator. Before we dive in, tell me where you're watching from in the comments. All right, listen closely. I'm not saying you need to cut fruit out of your life. Fruit is a beautiful gift from nature. But as I've said before, eating it at the wrong time, especially in the morning when your body is still at its most vulnerable, can turn even the healthiest food into a double-edged sword. And the scariest part? You won't feel anything at first. No pain, no dizziness, no warning signs. But then, months or years later, you start waking up multiple times a night. Your urine stream becomes weak and interrupted, or worse. You begin to avoid intimacy. Not because you don't want it, but because your body simply can't respond anymore. Let's start with the fruit that seems the most harmless, one that's even been called a fitness food, yet it's quietly sabotaging your testosterone every single morning: the banana. Yes, fruit number 1 is the banana, especially overripe, spotted bananas. I know this might come as a shock to many of you because I too, for years, believed bananas were the safest fruit for breakfast. Quick, convenient, full of potassium. Sounds ideal, right? But after hundreds of conversations with men over 60 struggling with sexual health issues, I started to uncover a frightening truth that few people are talking about. Bananas, especially when they're very ripe, are actually sweet little bombs of processed sugar. As bananas ripen, their starch turns into simple sugars, specifically glucose and fructose, causing a rapid spike in your glycemic index. And if you eat one on an empty stomach, your bloodstream is immediately flooded with sugar. To handle that, your body releases insulin, the hormone that regulates blood sugar. So, what's the problem? Insulin and testosterone are biological enemies. When insulin spikes, testosterone gets suppressed. And as you already know, testosterone is the hormone that defines a man's strength, desire, erection quality, and vitality. But it gets worse. Elevated blood sugar and insulin levels also reduce nitric oxide production, the molecule that relaxes blood vessels and helps deliver blood to the penis. No blood, no performance, no testosterone, no manhood. The most terrifying part is that the damage doesn't happen all at once. It creeps in, bit by bit, like a silent countdown ticking inside your body. And one day, you look in the mirror and wonder, what happened to me? Now, if you truly love bananas, don't eat them alone, and never eat them on an empty stomach. Treat them as a gentle dessert after a protein-rich meal, like eggs, avocado, or a bit of Greek yogurt. Healthy fats and proteins will help slow down sugar absorption and prevent that harsh insulin spike. And if possible, enjoy bananas in the afternoon, when your hormones are more stable. If this video resonates with you, type the number 1 in the comments. If not, type 0, so I know how to make this even more helpful for you. And remember, bananas are just the beginning. The next fruit may be tiny, but it contains a sugar load so dangerous that it could completely wreck your erection if eaten at the wrong time. Second, grapes. There's a shocking truth I discovered after reviewing hundreds of lab reports from my patients. Many of these men didn't drink alcohol, didn't smoke, exercised regularly, and yet their testosterone levels had plummeted to dangerously low levels. The culprit? something they thought was completely harmless, a handful of grapes in the morning. I know it sounds hard to believe. Grapes, those sweet, refreshing little fruits, are the reason men lose their strength and masculinity. But that's exactly the dangerous paradox. It's that easy sweetness, that innocent indulgence, that silently makes your body pay the price. Grapes are much higher in sugar than most people realize, and when you eat them on an empty stomach, that sugar hits your bloodstream like a shockwave, spiking your insulin within minutes. That leads to 3 serious consequences. First, a surge in insulin causes testosterone to crash, leaving you feeling weaker without even knowing why. Second, it disrupts the production of nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for helping you get and maintain an erection. Third, it increases inflammation in the pelvic blood vessels, slowing blood flow and making it harder for your penis to receive the pressure it needs to function. If you truly love grapes, never eat them on an empty stomach, and absolutely never first thing in the morning. If you do want to eat them, have them after a lunch that's rich in protein and healthy fats. That way, you buffer the sugar impact and protect your hormones. Don't let one innocent handful of grapes each morning cost you your nights of restless tossing, your confidence in the bedroom, or the natural masculine power you were born with. Small mistakes, when repeated long enough, can steal the most precious thing a man has, his ability to be a man naturally. And what I'm about to say next might be sitting right there in your fridge. You probably think it energizes you, but in reality, it may be suffocating your manhood, starting with the very first sip you take each morning. Third, orange juice. You know, after decades of working with men over 60, I discovered a hidden culprit, something quietly sabotaging male performance that almost no one suspects. It's that seemingly healthy glass of orange juice you drink every morning. I used to believe orange juice was nature's gift, refreshing, packed with vitamins, great for the immune system. And yes, on the surface, that's true, but only if you don't drink it in the morning on an empty stomach, when your testosterone levels are at their lowest point of the day. Here's what you need to know. That glass of orange juice is not as innocent as it looks. It contains as much sugar as a can of soda. Worse, it has 0 fiber, which means there's nothing to slow down the sugar spike. So what happens? Your blood sugar shoots up, insulin surges, and your testosterone, the very hormone that defines your masculinity, plummets. You might not feel it on day 1, or even in the first month, but imagine this. Every morning, you're pouring cold water over your hormonal fire. Eventually, that fire dies out. You start feeling disconnected, less inspired, your ability to rise like you used to, gone, and you have no idea why. If you've been drinking orange juice each morning, I'm not saying you have to give it up forever, but don't let it hit your body alone. Eat a little protein or healthy fat first, or better yet, eat the whole orange, where the fiber is still intact, to help regulate your blood sugar. Because sometimes, what's weakening you isn't a lack of pills. It's the daily habit of drowning your testosterone without even realizing it. And maybe right now, you're breathing a sigh of relief, thinking, okay, I'll just switch to watermelon, that's safe. It's sweet, hydrating, and often praised for supporting male vitality. Sounds harmless, right? But that very assumption has quietly led more men down the wrong path than you'd ever expect. Fourth, watermelon. I know many gentlemen might be wondering, but doesn't watermelon contain citrulline? I heard it's great for intimacy. And you're absolutely right. Watermelon does contain citrulline, a compound that helps dilate blood vessels, improve circulation, and support erection quality. But here's what worries me. Many men are unknowingly turning this fruit into a silent saboteur, simply because they're eating it the wrong way, at the wrong time. You see, when you eat watermelon in the morning on an empty stomach, or worse, when you consume too much of it at once, you flood your body with a large dose of fast-absorbing sugars. That causes your blood sugar to spike, which then triggers a surge of insulin. The result? Your nitric oxide, the very substance you need to relax blood vessels, gets suppressed. And if your blood vessels won't open, your manhood won't rise. It's ironic, isn't it? Something that's supposed to help you feel stronger ends up becoming a double-edged sword, just because you had it at the worst possible time of day. I once had a patient who told me, "Doc, I eat watermelon every morning because I heard it's good for performance, but the more I eat, the weaker I feel." When I asked him when he was eating it, he said, "Right after waking up, a huge bowl every single day." I could only sigh. If you truly enjoy watermelon, I get it, but have it after lunch when your body already has a solid nutritional foundation, and keep the portion reasonable. Don't turn watermelon into a full meal. Treat it like a natural dessert. And believe me, watermelon isn't even the worst offender. There's another tropical fruit, sweet, smooth, and dangerously common, that's even more harmful. Not only does it spike your blood sugar, it quietly attacks your liver, little by little. And once your liver starts to give out, your testosterone follows right behind. Sounds hard to believe, right? But if you're eating this fruit every morning without question, there's a good chance you're silently extinguishing your inner fire, one innocent bite at a time. Fifth, mangoes. In 2009, the University of Texas Southwestern published a shocking study. In just 10 days of following a high fructose diet, men showed significant drops in both liver function and testosterone levels. Even more disturbing, this decline wasn't painful. There were no obvious signs. Yet behind the scenes, it was silently dismantling their entire hormonal system. I still remember the chill that ran down my spine when I read the conclusion. Fructose from fruit, if consumed at the wrong time, can significantly impair sexual function in middle-aged and older men. And do you know which fruit contains one of the highest levels of fructose? Mangoes. I get it. Mangoes are delicious. That rich sweetness and refreshing coolness are hard to resist, especially first thing in the morning. But that's precisely when mango becomes most dangerous. When your stomach is empty, your hormones are sensitive, and your liver isn't primed to process anything heavy. That's when mango delivers a sweet, silent blow to your masculinity. The fructose goes straight to your liver, triggering fat accumulation, metabolic dysfunction, and suppressing testosterone production at its source. But it doesn't stop there. The sugar load from mango causes a sharp spike in insulin, and elevated insulin is a silent enemy of erections. It blocks nitric oxide production, the compound that dilates blood vessels and delivers blood flow to your genitals. Without blood, there's no performance. Without testosterone, there's no desire. I've seen 70-year-old men who appeared healthy, swore they only ate fruit, yet their testosterone levels tested lower than postmenopausal women, and most of them started their day with a plate of golden, ripe mango. If you love mango, love it wisely. Never eat it in the morning, especially on an empty stomach. Save it for after lunch, when your body has already taken in protein and healthy fats to slow absorption. And better yet, pair it with plain Greek yogurt or a few walnuts. That's not just smart eating. It's how you protect yourself from a silent, steady decline that's almost impossible to reverse once it sets in. The next fruit on our list is even more subtle in its damage. You've probably always believed it's clean, great for digestion, and loaded with vitamin C. But the truth is, it may be quietly disrupting your hormones from the very first hours of the day, leaving your erections weaker and your confidence fading without ever knowing why. Sixth, pineapple. Have you ever wondered why, even after weeks or months of clean eating and healthy living, you still don't feel any better? You still feel sluggish, low on drive, and when it's time to perform, your body just doesn't respond? I've asked that same question to hundreds of older patients, and I noticed a strange common thread. Nearly all of them started their mornings with pineapple and believed it was a healthy habit. But the truth is quite the opposite. Pineapple contains far more natural sugar than most people realize. Each sweet, juicy bite delivers a heavy load of glucose and fructose, but almost no fiber to slow down absorption. This triggers a dangerous reaction, a rapid blood sugar spike, followed by a surge in insulin, and that's the beginning of a downward spiral in male vitality. When insulin rises, testosterone drops, and when testosterone is low, your body struggles to respond to natural stimulation. Why? Because testosterone is the master switch. It controls your desire, your ability to perform, and your very sense of masculine energy. But it doesn't end there. Elevated insulin also suppresses nitric oxide production, the very compound that relaxes blood vessels and allows blood to flow freely. Without that blood flow, arousal becomes a physical impossibility, no matter how much desire you feel. If you enjoy pineapple, I'm not saying you have to give it up entirely. Just don't eat it first thing in the morning, especially not on an empty stomach. Instead, treat it as a dessert after lunch, ideally alongside a light source of protein like plain Greek yogurt or a few slices of fresh cheese. That way, you can still enjoy the taste without sacrificing your male vitality. Because in the end, masculinity isn't about how many workouts you squeeze in per week. It's about the small, daily choices that seem harmless, like a slice of pineapple in the morning. And if pineapple is the sweet imposter, the next one is even more dangerous. Just a small handful of it in the morning can trigger a silent insulin surge, kill your testosterone, and choke off blood flow to the very place you need it most. 7th, dried fruit. Have you ever believed that dried fruit is the perfect snack? Natural, no additives, convenient and healthy? You wouldn't be alone. Many men over 60 fall into the same trap, and each morning, without realizing it, they sabotage their hormones, one handful at a time. Dried fruit is nothing more than concentrated sugar in disguise. When you eat a handful first thing in the morning, that sugar floods your bloodstream like a tidal wave. And the faster your blood sugar rises, the higher your insulin spikes. And when insulin spikes, testosterone crashes. That's the seesaw effect of hormones. One goes up, the other must come down. I've had patients sit in disbelief when they discovered that their so-called healthy snack was silently draining their energy, crushing their erection power, and leaving them tired, unfocused, and increasingly disconnected from their own desires. Even worse, those high blood sugar spikes damage the tiny blood vessels in the pelvic region, like blowing up a thin balloon until it slowly starts leaking air. You won't hear it burst, but your strength is slowly slipping away without you even noticing. Instead of dried fruit, reach for nutrient-dense nuts, like almonds, walnuts, or Brazil nuts. Because if you continue eating dried fruit carelessly every morning, you may soon find yourself standing in the bedroom with a body that no longer responds the way it used to. And at that point, it's no longer just about testosterone. It's about your confidence, your dignity, and your connection with the person beside you. You might think, it's just a little bit. What harm could it do? But that's the trap. It's not what you do once. It's what you repeat every morning. And those tiny bites, eaten the wrong way, are slowly draining your life force, strangling your testosterone, and eroding your manhood one day at a time. Most men don't realize it until it's too late. And then they sit across from me, eyes filled with regret, and say, "I wish I had known this sooner." But you're not them. You still have time. You still have a choice. And right now, you're in the right place at the right moment. Because what I'm about to share next is something every man over 60 wishes he had learned years ago. It's not a pill. It's not a complicated formula. It's a simple shift in how you start your mornings, one that can awaken your testosterone, clean out the blood vessels down there, and help restore the strength time has quietly taken from you. And it starts with what I'll reveal in the next section. Don't miss this, because if you're serious about reclaiming your natural vitality, this is the first step you cannot afford to ignore. 8th, the breakfast that restores erections. After 60. I've spent over 30 years working with men over 60, men who walked into my clinic with tired eyes, raspy voices, and heartbreaking confessions like, "Doctor, I feel like I'm disappearing, little by little." But over time, I discovered one simple truth. It all starts with breakfast. Morning is the most hormone-sensitive time of day, when your blood flow, recovery potential, and testosterone balance are all at their most fragile. If you begin your day with sugar and starch, you're flipping the switch that destroys your manhood. But if you choose the right foods, you can start to turn everything around in just a few weeks. I always tell my patients, begin with a warm glass of plain water. No juice, no coffee right away. Let your body wake up with purification. not a sugar crash. Then, fuel your body and your manhood with boiled eggs, avocado, Greek yogurt, or a handful of berries. Boiled eggs are rich in natural choline, which boosts dopamine and supports sexual performance. Avocados offer heart-healthy, monounsaturated fats that help stabilize your hormones. Unsweetened Greek yogurt delivers protein and probiotics that strengthen the brain-gut testicular axis. And a handful of berries? They give you a powerful dose of antioxidants without throwing your insulin off balance. The most important rule, stay far away from refined sugar, white bread, packaged cereals, and fruit juice. These aren't breakfast. They're a slow sedative for your testosterone. You don't need the body of a 20-year-old. You just need to become the strongest, most vital version of yourself. And that starts by changing how you begin your day. Because when you do, something incredible happens. Your energy rises, your sleep deepens, your will to live returns, and your body starts responding like a man again, not a shadow of one. This isn't magic, it's science, and it's your choice, starting tomorrow morning. You've already lived 60 years, and I truly believe you didn't make it this far just to survive. You're here to live, to love, to feel that strength pulse through your veins in every touch, in every breath. You don't need another pill. You need awareness of what you're eating and how you're starting your mornings, because in that decision lies your power to either keep slipping or begin to rise again. Don't wait another year, another month, not even another day. Change starts with breakfast tomorrow morning. And remember this, you're never too old to be reborn, never too late to reclaim what's been lost, never too far gone to make the woman beside you look at you with admiration one more time. If this video stirred something inside you, share it. Let other men know they don't have to suffer in silence. Because true strength isn't about pretending everything's fine. It's about having the courage to change,